Hi everyone! I'm just going to dive into this straight away. So we're going to start off with applying NYX Liquid Illuminator in Gleam, and we're going to put it all over the face. I'm then going to tap in my Smashbox foundation primer with my fingers, and I'm not using a brush for this simply because the warmth of the fingers is just better than applying with a brush. I'm then going to go in with one of my favorite products at the moment, and it is the NYX Color Correcting Palette, and I'm going to go in with the green on a Circle 1 Artiste brush. And yes, I had to write NYX Face Award on my forehead because why not? And for anyone that's wondering about these black cream kind of brushes, I have no idea where I got them, but they're just the normal kind of synthetic brushes to apply creams with. And then I did what I told you that one should do after you put on your color correction, which is to set it with just a little bit of transparent powder. And then I went in with my Fit Me foundation in 315 and my oh so beloved Oval 7 brush from Artiste. I cannot get over how quick this brush applies your foundation and how freaking smooth everything looks. Oh, I just love it. So I'm now going to snatch the cheekbones, the jawline, the nose, and the forehead a little bit. And I'm using my Artiste Oval 4 and the MAC Matchmaster Concealer in 8.5. And I do use both cream contour and powder contour when I do looks on camera like this, simply because it looks better, and if I just did the powder it wouldn't show up at all basically. And then I'm blending it all out with my Oval 7. And now it's time to brighten things up a bit. So I'm using my MAC Pro Longwear in NC20, and I'm using my beauty blender to apply it with, even though I'm pretty much obsessed with applying it with my Oval 4. I kind of need to switch it up. But for anyone that's wondering, yes, the Oval 4 applies this concealer super smooth, and in my opinion, even better than the beauty blender. And you don't need as much product either, so that's a big plus. And then, of course, we're going to bake a little bit. I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder to bake underneath my eyes, around my nose, down my chin, the tip of my nose, and also a bit on my forehead. But for the rest of the face, I'm using the MAC Prep and Prime transparent powder, and I'm simply using the MAC one because, well, I'm not a millionaire and I can't afford baking my entire face with a Laura Mercier. So yeah, that's that. I'm then going in with my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in dark brown on a 322 brow line brush from Zoeva. And now it's time for some glow. And I'm using a micro blender to apply the sleek Solstice palette strobing cream. And I cannot get over this palette. I just can't. And for this look, I'm not holding anything back. So we're going to strobe the heck out of the face so that NASA can see us all the way from space. And then we're just gonna snatch the cheekbones just a little bit more. And I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in medium and my MAC Sculpting Powder in shadowy on a random little brush that doesn't really have a name, but I cannot live without it. Now, I didn't wanted too much of a blush action going on for this look, but I did put on a little bit of Milani's Baked Blush in Berry Amore with a cheek brush from Real Techniques. I originally wanted my base to be dewy, but then I remember that I'm going to do a avant-garde eye look, so that might have been a little bit too much. So I went in with a NYX matte setting spray instead of my Fix Plus one. Moving on to the eyes. Now, putting on a actual eye primer before you put on a NYX jumbo pencil might be a bit too much. I just wanted to be sure that I wouldn't get any creasing, and I'm doing this because I wanted my eyeshadow to look really bright and radiant, but also I wanted this shadow to really like stick onto the lid, and I just love the jumbo pencil for that. I also applied it around my waterline, but also in the actual waterline. I then buffed out the edges with a little bit of Zoeva 226 smudger brush. I then went in with my Morphe 35P palette, and I chose this really bright purple shade that looks so good next to the shadow that I went in with later. I used the Zoeva 227 brush, and key to get that super bright color is to really pack that eyeshadow on. I mean, it is a avant-garde look, so don't be scared to go a little bit crazy. I then went in with my second shadow, and I haven't really tried out NYX prismatic shadows ever before, so this was kind of a first impression for me, but I really love this one. It's in the color Mermaid, and it's this really cool kind of iridescent shadow. It's so cool. In some lights, it's kind of greenish, and in some lights, it's this really cool minty shade. And if you're not wearing any like bright base, like, you know, the one that I'm wearing today, the NYX milk one, it almost looks, you know, teal on the lid. So it's really cool. And now for the star of the show, the Intense Butter Gloss, and it's in the color Berry Strudel. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous to do this part, even though I'm doing a avant-garde look. I wanted it to look kind of, you know, splashy in a way, you know, and not messy. I first went in with the actual applicator, but then I realized that I needed different patterns. So I went in with a really small eyeliner brush, like the Sigma E05 brush. I also used a even tinier brush to really make those super small strokes. And for the other side, I did put on a little less to make it look kind of asymmetrical and cool, but I did use the same type of technique. And, you know, make just a little tip for you. Make sure that your hair is out of the way, because this is a messy business. And then for some eyeliner, mascara, and some hardcore lashes to complete the look. I also went in with some individual lashes on my bottom lashes, and oh my god, how time consuming that was. And to complete the look, I went in with the NYX Intense Butter Gloss in Sorbet. And this is the finished look. I hope you liked this video, and I will let you know if I move on to the top 30. And you know what? If I don't, that's totally okay, because I had a blast doing this look. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!